Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for clicking on the video. This is a review for Iyanla Fix My Life. This episode was, well, we had LisaRaye McCoy on. She brought her mother and her daughter with her. They have like the deep-seated issues. And you know what's bad about the whole thing is they left the situation with nothing fixed, nothing changed. Nothing, I'm sure that they, got some, well, they did get some tools. Iyanla gave them some tools, but I'm sure they also were able to do a little bit of self-evaluation, and hopefully, in doing that, things will change for, their family dynamic, because right now it's toxic. Right off the bat, she sits down with all three of them initially. And, just to gauge, why are we here? What you got going on? Katie, LisaRaye's mother, she's very, her disposition is very, she's upset. She's bitter. Bitterness more so than anything. Bitterness is just like permeating. It's all over her. Lisa, she also got a lot going on, and then you can see that her daughter is very cold and shut off. And they all have that in common. That her daughter Kai liked to say, well, I'm nonchalant. And it's really just, not being emotionally there. Like Iyanla put it, you haven't tapped into, your heart. Like it's hardened. And so you honestly don't even know what that looks like, what that emotion is. So they had to break all of that down. LisaRaye's mother calls her Hollywood. That's some of her issues. She calls her Hollywood. She really feels like she's going to get left behind. She's up in age and she's elderly. So she feels like eventually, like in the past, because she always felt like Lisa kind of, dropped her to the wayside once she got Hollywood, once she got famous, when she started getting in movies. She felt like Lisa changed a little bit. They all live under one roof. So Grandma lived there, LisaRaye lived there, Kai lives there, and she has a daughter. And so that right there, recipe for disaster. When it's too many, excuse me, y'all. When it's too many adults in the house, yeah, recipe for a disaster. That's not gonna be good. Somebody is bound to butt heads. You're gonna be arguing. It's too, and I know it's too tight in there. I know it. I'm sure it's, it's a big home. We talking about LisaRaye, but still, 3 adults in one house, and everybody trying. And for one, the person that's paying all the bills, I know she just LisaRaye. That is, I'm sure, she makes it known. I'm paying the bills around here. It's my house, my rules. Da 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 da. Then you got Grandma, who's like, well, I'm your mother, so show me some respect. You ought to be taking care of me. You ought to be doing all these things. And then the daughter, I don't know where her place is, but she's 30, and she doesn't really have any direction. She's a millennial. We really ain't trying to be getting involved in careers that don't serve us. Like, if it's not gonna, serve me right now, if it's not gonna make me money right now, I don't want to do it. And that's not to say that that's a good thing, or that, that's how you should be thinking as it pertains to like life and your career and where you're going. No, you shouldn't be that, cavalier about it. You should have some focus and some drive and some ambition and all of that to go out there and work for what you want. You want your mama's lifestyle. You want the money. You see the money, and that's what you want. But she worked hard. And so you're not going to come up behind thinking that, okay, it can just, all be handed to you. Lisa Ray's daughter, she mentioned, well, let me just do it. Like, I'm going to just go through each one. We're going to start with Katie. Katie is, and I cried. Like, I was crying because mainly I know that so many women have her same story. It's disheartening to know that, you know, well, to find out, one, she was picking cotton in Mississippi. And, you know, like most women of her, in her generation, they did what they had to do to get out of whatever situation that was. Because more times than not, it was a bad situation. And for her, she picking cotton. So, of course, you know, first man come by to, you know, sweep me off my feet and take me away from all of this, I'm going to go. She also, you know, had children. Well, had Lisa Ray with her husband. Was she happy? No. Was he a good husband? No. Probably a good father. But then again, there's a lot to be said about that, because it came out that, you know, he basically manipulated Lisa Ray and her mother, you know, with money. He was the breadwinner. Come to find out, he was a millionaire. He's a business owner. So Lisa Ray has always come from money. Like, her dad was a business owner, a millionaire. And that it's understandable why she even gets the whole gold digger, you know, stereotype thrown on her. We look at her and, you know, we all have our own little thoughts as it pertains to Lisa Ray and her choice in a man and keeping a man and all of that. And, you know, that's just on her. And rightfully so, I guess, because, I mean, she came from that and that's all she knows. But Katie was abused by Lisa's father. He cheated on her. She said he had about 4 or 5 different women. It was nothing for him to have 4 or 5 different women at a time. That's just something he did. He, like I said, beat her. You know, and so no education, no job, you know, skills or anything like that. What can she do? Of course she's going to stay home and care for the home and care for the child and just grit and bear it, because if she leaves, she don't have a pot to piss in. You know, what's going to happen to Lisa Ray if she just leaves this man? Part of it is, you know, you're thinking of yourself as well. You're like, if I leave, I ain't going to be getting all this money I'm getting. The lifestyle is going to change completely. You know, like, is that smart for me? Never mind Lisa Ray. Is it smart for me to do something like that? And I don't think she thought that it was a good idea. Iyanla kind of, you know, tried to judge her a little bit. You know, she said she wasn't going to judge her. And it's always easy to sit from that place of judgment. Like, why would you stick around and stay with somebody that you don't love? Or why have you been in a situation where you couldn't go get no job because what you gonna do? No. And many of our grandmothers were in a situation like that. My own grandmother married, I think she got married when she was like 15 or 16. She got her GED, but she didn't finish high school. She had, I think, a 8th or 9th grade education. She got married really young. She worked though. She wasn't a stay-at-home mom. She worked. Both she and my grandfather worked, but it wasn't. It was a toxic situation. There was some abuse happening. You know, like that. They just went through that. And did it with so much style and grace. And a lot of them are bitter and upset and they're mad. And, you know, it's understandable. It's like, I get it. I get why you mad. I get why you bitter. That's okay. But now that we are in a, you know, it's 2020 and therapy is alive and well, you know, you got to go and take care of yourself and, you know, sort all of that out. And instead, like most black women, you know, from that generation, it was just thrown on them kids, and their kids put it on theirs, on their daughters, you know, and it's just a trickling down, you know, pathology. So I don't fault I don't fault Katie for having her attitude. She mad, and she got every right to be mad with that man for cheating on her, for beating on her, for all of that. And I think what upset her more is the fact that LisaRaye, knowing all of that, still basically, not to say she chose sides, but she would always choose her dad. You know, she's a daddy's girl, and so it was always daddy, daddy, daddy. But mom gets no respect, you know, and he played them against each other. All of that, you know, it's like the mother, Katie, knowing that he has all of these affairs, you know, it's almost as if, and Iyanla said the same thing, she competing with you, you know, like you one of the other women, you know, competing for his love and affection and time and all of that. He giving it all to them other women and his daughter. And then here you are, left with nothing. He's leaving you with nothing. And your daughter is, you know, completely, and Iyanla also had to, you know, explain to her that Lisa isn't responsible for, you know, your situation with your husband, because that's your husband. And you need to stop feeling like she should be mad at your husband, her dad, you know, when it ain't even really her place. Their relationship is father-daughter, you know, and that's it. And you can't project all of that, all of your insecurities and what you mad about with him onto her, and, you know, think that she should choose sides. Like, this just, no, that's not how things work. Mom understood after a while. She was stubborn. They all were stubborn, you know, as far as, you know, taking accountability and owning up to their own mess. Mama finally came around full circle. In the end, she was like, you know what? I think it might have been me. It might have been me. Might have been me that caused all of this, that caused Lisa to be so bitter and angry, that caused Kai to be so bitter and angry. It might have been me. And, you know, Iyanla was happy about that. LisaRaye, this is her mess. She came to grips, you know, with understanding that her dad, she and her dad had their situation, their relationship, you know, partly, you know, it's all love and father-daughter, but the other part is he was playing you, manipulating the situation. And she realized that. She broke down crying as well. She didn't want to take accountability for her part in her daughter's, you know, upbringing and why her daughter was acting out and all of that. She sent her like to boarding school when she was, first she said at 13 she had to go away but didn't know why. And then she had to go away again. You know, she was acting up, skipping school or whatever. And Lisa sent her to a boarding school. She tried to act like it didn't bother her. You know, she was asked about it and she, you know, tried to give some reaction like, I'm cool. Like, I never said it bothered me. I never said I missed her. Girl, you missed your mama. Now stop. Just stop trying. Stop with the hard exterior. Like, we in therapy right now. You can just let all of that go. You know you missed your mama. Please. And you know you mad at her for sending you to boarding school. All boarding school kids are mad with their parents for being sent away. All of them are. And they got every right to be, because don't send me to no boarding school because you tired of me, because you don't want to deal with me, because you think I'm, well, it was called a little behavioral school, but boarding school. She went to boarding school. But that was Kai's issue, you know. She got mommy issues as well, with mommy not being around. And I know I'm jumping all over the place, but it's the pathology of it all was just like mind blowing to me, that they really were all, you know, like one person. They all, you know, had the same deep seated issues. And it's all stemming from that bitterness from grandma, you know, feeling like Lisa owe her something, you know, feeling like, oh, I went through all of this. I did all of this for you, and this how you repay me. You go and live with your daddy and his mistress. Like, who does that? Because mama, she had a little outburst and she just let all of that be known. You did that. You went over there. Y'all ain't telling the truth. You went over there and lived with him and that woman. Mama was mad. She was mad all the way up until the end. Just mad and bitter. Hopefully she'll get over it eventually. Maybe after seeing herself on TV, you know, it'll resonate with her. You know, dang, I might need to make some changes. I might need to do some stuff a little different. Overall, like I said, they didn't get there was no resolve here. You know, it was just everybody's issues were thrown out there. All their issues were pretty much the same. Here are some tools, you know, to make it better, but she didn't really feel like she could get anywhere with them. I guess there was no resolve because they didn't really take accountability, you know, I guess as much as she would have hoped. I don't know what she was trying to break through, but it wasn't enough for Iyanla. She was like, I can't even give y'all your crown. Because that was her little theme, you know. There were cracks in their crown. So, good luck to them. She wants to do a follow-up with them. And so, hopefully we get one. Hopefully we get a follow-up. But Kai, you know, at the end, you know, seeing how everybody doing. Kai says she moving out. Lisa Ray and her mama still going back and forth. We'll see, y'all. We'll see when they come back for the reunion, I guess, or you know, the follow up. That was it for that. I don't know what's going on with this week's episode. You know, if it's interesting enough, I'll be back to review it. But anyway, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's Call Me Busby. I'll chat with you later. Peace and light.